Hospital porters, pride and dignity. Stop the New World Order. Welcome to HPANWO TV. And welcome to this. London. I'm in London. I'm actually on the Mall. You can see like the pink, what's the word, tarmac now. It's very, very hot here. It's about just after 3 PM. It's the height of the heat wave. It's like 32 degrees. This sort of weather is very rare in Britain, and it's not sort of day to be wandering around. It's not so bad if you're not working. I wasn't working earlier this morning. I actually did my normal morning work, and I came straight from work. I've got my bag of luggage there along with everything else. I'm going to another conference. I'll just show you exactly where I'm going. Right then, let's see where we're going on this latest adventure. Only the second I've taken since we've had freedom. I'm going back to the UFO Academy Watford. Yes, this is the 5th annual Awake and Aware UK conference at High Elms Manor, Watford, England. That's in Hertfordshire. This is the Awake and Aware, is organised by Kerry Cassidy of Project Camelot. I think this is the 3rd time I've been to Kerry's conferences. They're always really, really good. This one's going to be different though, because as you can see, if you look down, I'm speaking. Yes, this is the first time I've spoken at Awake and Aware. I was a backup speaker actually 1 year and had a press pass. But this time I'm a frontline speaker. This is actually the 2nd time I've spoken at the UFO Academy. It's really, really great to be back. Yes, indeed. I'm going to be doing a lecture entitled, What's Going to Happen Next? Are the forces of the New World Order weakening? Will we have UFO disclosure? Are we heading for catastrophe or freedom? Ben Emlyn-Jones attempts to answer these vital questions. I've even got a little speaker's bio here, you see. I think you'll recognise this quite well. Ben Emlyn-Jones is a former hospital porter and independent journalist who, over the course of his life, has come to realise that subjects most people laugh at, like UFOs, the paranormal and government cover-ups, are real. Not only are they real, they are the most important issues affecting the world today. Gaining an understanding of them has become a necessity. Ben is the author of the books Roswell Rising, a novel of disclosure, and its 2 sequels. He writes the HPANWO blog and a column in UFO Truth magazine. I think that's a pretty accurate description of me, wouldn't you say? But anyway, there's some excellent speakers here on this lineup, even the ones who are not me, and we'll go through some of them now. We have Harry Challenger. Now, that guy looks a bit familiar to me, but I think I know him by a different name. But not to worry. We also have someone called Darren Brown, not Darren Brown, Darren Brown. Oh my goodness. I wonder if that's a fake name for somebody special. I don't know, but there's like a handprint there as well. Psychic hand, there's their little logo. We have Simon Parkes, who we're all familiar with, contactee. Knows a lot about the secret inside government, so I'm looking forward to hear what he has to say. And then on the following day, that is Friday, we have Johnny Enoch. Now, you may be familiar with him because he appears on several TV shows on Gaia and I think other channels. We have Kerry Cassidy herself, who's having a little bit of trouble in the lockdown situation, but we hope to hear from her. Mike Oram, it says, and Mike Oram, I've featured before. He's an experienced lecturer and storyteller and has written a book called Does It Rain in Other Dimensions? And I've read that. It's very, very good. He's another guy who's a contactee, and he has, for his life, has been interacting with alien beings. He was involved in the Warminster thing. Now we have my friend and your friend, Colin Wolford. Well, he's my friend anyway. Legacy of the Stars. This is going to be very interesting because he's going to be talking about several subjects, most notably something rather interesting about some sci-fi programs, in particular Star Trek, because, believe it or not, they actually depict real aliens. And finally, Maria Wheatley. She spoke at Bases. She's back again. Light Effects at Stonehenge. I think it's the same talk she did at Bases. And, well, it'd be good to see it again because it's very, very interesting indeed. So, I can't wait. This is going to be good. It's great to get out and about, and what better way to enjoy your freedom than to go to an amazing event like this. I do hope you'll go to future ones. I hope to be speaking at future ones, so see you there. Okay, I've walked up from the coach station. As I said, I'm taking my time. The Mall here, of course, is the classic place in London. If you go down, you can look down here, you see the reptile house. When was the last time I was here? I think it might have been with Trump. I don't know the Trump thing. I'm not sure. But excuse me. I'm not feeling at my best at the moment. I'm actually pretty black-pilled. As you know from my last video, the Sarah Everard video, I was a bit on a downer there. I think I'm kind of suffering from evil overload, and it's getting a bit much for me, actually. I think I need, as I said, you need to manage your exposure to this sort of thing. It's just been a bit overwhelming at the moment. I've been getting worse and worse and worse. I was actually on the Kev Baker show last night, and I really found it hard going. It was a real slog. I think Kev realised that. I think he recognised that. But I was like really struggling with it, feeling exhaustion. And I did all right, managed all right in the end, but it wasn't as easy as it normally is. Normally it's effortless. I walked up from the coast station. I wanted an ice cream. I'm really hot. Went up to the ice cream stall in St James's Park. They're cashless. They say, oh, it's because of the sea. You know, reduces contact. It's because of sea. You know what I mean by sea, the C word. Of course, I said, look, I want to pay with cash. I didn't actually say these words, but I like the idea of having a private, physical transaction in terms of my finances with another person. And you can't do that now in many, many cases. Do you remember the Bear Hotel in Devizes? It's cashless. See, people like Alex Jones, David Icke and myself, we've been warning for years and years and years they're going to try and build the cashless economy. Now they've got the perfect pretext. It reduces contact. It means staff don't have to handle grubby banknotes with viruses all over them. Let's make them cashless for safety. And the thing about it is, they're never going to go back now. The cashless institutions are going to stay cashless, and they're going to increase. And people who only want to use cash are going to be more and more corralled down a narrower and narrower channel of what you can and cannot do within your life. Well, another thing, this is related, but another thing that put me on a black pill was Tony Blair was all the news. Why is that guy in the news? He's not Prime Minister anymore. He's not even an MP. What's his role? What purpose does he serve? He was on TV saying how wonderful the idea of C-word passports are. Now, this is the Freedom Day. I've not made a Freedom Day video, as I said previously, but I wrote an article on HPANWO Voice. It's been a right damp squib. Because it was on Freedom Day that Boris announced that, oh, by the way, you know, I said we weren't going to have C-word passports, vaccine passports. Well, now we are going to have vaccine passports. Sorry, I made a mistake. So now, yep, end of September, you're going to need a vaccine passport to get into, I think, rock venues like nightclubs, things like that. And of course, that list is going to expand. And everyone's going to be a lot of pressure now for people to get V'd, so they can do that. And I was just the lady behind the counter at this ice cream store was saying again. I'm sorry, you know, it's because of the C word. Surely it's obvious. The C word is nothing more than an excuse for the government to become more controlling, more authoritarian, more rigid in its forcing conformity among the people. Surely it's now obvious that that's all it is. They have to dress it up as if it's for our benefit. Problem, reaction, solution, as David Icke said. Cashless economy is a terrible thing. It means that we cannot turn a penny without the permission and knowledge of a computer system. We cannot own our own money. I mean, I know people argue we don't anyway. It's just promissory notes. But whether you can or not, at least you can do it privately. At least you can do it physically in the real world, not electronically. And now we can't. We're not allowed to. It's banned. I'm not feeling very good now. I'm not feeling good about things at the moment. I'm getting this evil overload. There's so much evil in the world, in so many areas, so much corruption caused by a few malicious people, but then surrounding them, enabling them is a coterie of feeble-mindedness and weakness and apathy. Just doing my job, mate, that sort of thing. And it's just everywhere. I mean, I do wonder how far do you have to push these people before they say no? What do you have to do? What measures will have to be put in place? And I think so long as the government know how to manipulate people through the Tavistock Institute and things like that, I don't think there's anything they wouldn't do. As long as it's dressed up in the right way, as long as it's presented in the proper way, psychologically, using the method problem reaction solution, gradualism, things like that. There's the monument up there. It's called the monument, I don't know what it's for. Then I don't think there's anything they couldn't get away with. They could have people boiling kittens for breakfast. And they'll say, oh, it's a good thing, yeah, it protects us from A, B and C. It protects us from the raw kitten virus. And people go along with it. If you don't, the police will come and arrest you. Just doing our job, mate. We've got to enforce the kitten boiling law. Look at that, there you are, see, there's a whole load of them. I've seen 3 armed police around the reptile house. Again, this is... if you take someone from the 1950s and bring them here to this spot, they'd recognise a lot of it. The buildings are the same, things like that, but the only weapons that would have been on display back then would have been the ceremonial rifles of the household guards. And now there are armed coppers around everywhere. There are big barriers. Look at those barriers, see? You see them? They've got them on Buckingham Palace Road as well, to protect you from the lorries of peace. from radical Islamism, which is, again, radical Islamism, creation of psychological warfare operations, provable. CIA, MI5, Mossad, they've been sponsoring ISIS and organisations like it since time immemorial. I mean, I really now hate, I really despise this part of the world now, and the energy of it is horrible. The energy of it is terrible. It just feels everywhere I turn. There's degeneracy and corruption, and there's cowardice everywhere. I think talking about Sarah Everard put me on a downer, and now I'm moving on a bigger downer, I'll tell you. Oh, well, I won't always feel like this. I mean, I'll have obviously I go through cycles of white pill and black pill, Right now, I'm right on the bottom of the trough of the black pill box at the moment. So there's so many security barriers everywhere. So many fences with barbed wire on them. It's like this whole area looks like it's been... I wouldn't be surprised if I saw sandbags or something. It's like something from a war movie. I need something to drink. I'm thirsty. I'm at Trafalgar Square now. I'm really thirsty. I need something to drink. I need to get a bottle of something, or water. It's hot here, I'm going to get dehydrated if I don't drink. Can I buy anything? Is it anywhere? I'm really scared that the whole of central London has gone cashless and no one cares. They just keep handing over them digital fingerprints, check, so that they have a big database, perfect for the social credit system. I'm like, oh dear, I'm like, that pub is here. I wouldn't mind having a pint, but you go in there. Is it going to be a cashless pub? Even before the lockdown, there was a few cashless pubs. Are they all going to be cashless? Oh, goodness me. Don't get loyalty cards, by the way. I mean, I do shop in the supermarkets sometimes. I don't use loyalty cards because that's where they get information about you from those. Save you a bit of money, but you lose your privacy. You can't trust people with your information about you because they will abuse it. There's Nelson's Willie. I'll just... Maybe if I go in a grocery shop, I'll have to do something like this. I think I've never had a problem with cash in a grocery shop. So I think there's a Tesco's or something around here, or Sainsbury's. I'll go in there just to get a bottle of something because I'm like really thirsty. Ah, Hey, public hand sanitisers now. Problem is, some people actually try drinking that stuff. Right, I'm actually at the Seven Dials Monument now, Monmouth Street. Just gonna sit here and wait for a bit. Got to meet someone in a few minutes. Can't believe how this city has changed. If not, just in an energetic level. It's not the same place, and I don't like it. It's odd because you have, like, everywhere you go, you're walking around places. I haven't actually tried all of them. I've not tried it, looked in the others, but I bet you a lot of them are cashless. I've been looking for a grocery shop. The Tesco's Express is shut on Trafalgar Square. That's shut. It's boarded up. I don't even want to try. I've just been told, oh, sorry, you can't use cash here. Just hearing someone say that gets me down. At the same time, you have all these, there's rainbow flags everywhere, and the traffic lights have been changed to gender symbols and things like this. It's like this, the bludgeon of kindness, I think someone described it as. It's everywhere. I mean, the whole world's a bit like that, but it seems very, very concentrated and distilled here in central London. As you can see, I'm sitting in the shadow of this monument, the Seven Dials Monument, and you can see the shadow ahead of me. It's like a sundial. I'm kind of watching it move across the pavement. The passage of time being marked. I wonder how far it'll get for as long as I'm sitting here. I think it'll get as far as that bollard. We'll soon find out. Well, hello, I'm here at Covent Garden here, and there's Colin, hey. My good friend and comrade and space brother, has arrived.
It's hot, it's a hot one.
It's pretty hot. It's pretty hot now. We're in the shade of this big building and these trees, so. But we've had a bit to drink because we
You got a cup, Ben? Do you want me to put
here it is.
Oh, you can actually hold it.
All right, yeah. Colin's brought a big bottle of juice to drink because I was a bit thirsty.
My own dragon juice.
He does, yeah, and I'm quite pleased about that. But we're gonna go up to stay to see our friend in Watford soon. But we've got a couple of interesting things we want to do first, so stay tuned. Now, regular viewers might find this a little bit familiar. This here is where's the theatre?
We've got the church.
Oh, yeah, the Leicester Square Theatre. It's actually underground here, but it's down there that we saw old Spiros, didn't we?
And was that 2017, was it?
Yeah, that was the video. I mean, the video's on my channel if you want to see it. But Colin, it was like quite interesting, I thought. If you remember it.
It's down to interpretation.
Yeah, that was quite good fun. I thought. We had a good. But we're heading somewhere a bit more. Well, it's sort of in the same ballpark, and you'll see when we get there what I mean. This is Soho, and it's Chinatown. Whenever you see these little gates at the end here and all these things, that means you're in Chinatown. And there's loads of like not curry houses, restaurants and things. Lots of theatres. This is like the West End, Theatre Land, as well. And that's it. I'm not a London tour guide. I'm a conspiracy theorist, for goodness sake. Shut up, Ben. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're at a very interesting place. Now, it's 7 Soho Square in London, and there's been a news article recently about this institution.
It was actually a few years ago, Ben, actually.
Was it? Oh, right.
September 2016. And I remember, I think I posted it in my Alien Autopsy group, or I posted it somewhere, bases maybe, but forgive me for being like hot and bit hot and bothered, it's a hot one. But yeah, so this story was, it was in the Daily Express. Headline was revealed: UFO hunters' secret US-funded HQ in the heart of London Soho. And this is that behind us. That's Soho Green. It's only like a tiny little bit of grass. But this building here. Let me read on. Oh, that's
sure.
Typical. Someone starts some music.
Oh right, okay.
Okay. But anyway, I bet you can still hear me.
I can still hear you. It's all right.
So, when the Ministry of Defence announced its decision to axe its UFO department, the Americans quickly stepped in to preserve it, and Pentagon officials knew just where to site offices for the new program. neighbouring the UK headquarters of 20th Century Fox, famous for producing the sci-fi classics Alien, Independence Day, The Martian and Star Wars. No, that's largely funded by US tax dollars. The office, established in 2009, boasts a team of mainly American analysts, though it does include a small British contingent who carry out clandestine work as tourists outside enjoy the oasis of the Squires Park. Its work is overseen by a US colonel who visits regularly from Washington. There was pressure from a similar unit in the Pentagon which wanted to incorporate the MOD unit instead of serving military source last night. It was decided to move the unit to Soho Square. I understand that it now has a number of American personnel, he added. The relocation was even accidentally published in the Ministry of Defence's magazine, though few noticed. The operation took on a new role overseen by the Pentagon. It does, however, report directly to the MOD. While X-Files forms part of its work, while X-Files form part of its work, its main purpose is grounded in stark reality, the militarization of space. Of particular interest to the US is Project Camelot, a highly classified MOD intelligence study of UFOs. Research by British scientists suggested some UFO sightings might be attributable to atmospheric plasmas, and further that a better understanding of this might lead to some novel military applications, including Star Wars type energy beams. Nick Pope, for it is him, who formerly ran the MOD's UFO project, confirmed that Britain has no evidence of extraterrestrial life. This is written in 2016, just to remind you. But he added, that's not to say that we didn't have some fascinating cases in our files. Of around 12,000 sightings that the programme investigated, around 5% remained unexplained. And Project Camelot would have certainly grabbed the attention of Pentagon officials. Atmospheric plasma may or may not be at least a partial solution to the UFO mystery, he said. The weaponisation aspect of the phenomenon is exactly the sort of thing that might have caught the attention of the US government. When the MOD's UFO project was acted in 2009, a much more narrowly focused research effort may have taken its place, followed up on Project Camelot's recommendation that further work should be done on the potential for novel military applications. An office undertaking such work might be regarded as sufficiently different from what went on before to avoid counting as misleading Parliament, as it could be regarded as a new standalone initiative. Liz Quintana, a director of military science at the Royal United Services think tank, said Britain has maintained its interest in space and the issue of UFOs, and it would not surprise me if the UK and the US had an office here. Space is becoming increasingly contested and congested. Some of this is peaceful, some of it has dual use, and some distinctly nefarious. Russia and China particularly are active. Asked about the unit at 7 Soho Square, a spokesman at the Ministry of Defence said, "We don't discuss individual units." And that is it. That's the whole article. So I just thought it interesting.
So that was in 2016. Which newspaper?
That was the Daily Express, and I can even have a little show you a little picture of the article.
In 2016. Now, it talks. What's interesting. Yeah, what? That's it. No, blimey, look at that picture. That's typical, isn't it? So it's that building there. You see, it's that building
right.
there.
Yeah, I did notice that. So we were. It's just
it is the exact building. Yeah. Now, what strikes me about that is it's 2016. It refers to a special unit at the Pentagon for dealing with this. It sounds to me like what they're referring to is basically the UAPTF, although its name wasn't known in those days.
Yeah,
because we know that like the original ATIP was actually moved from the Defence Intelligence Agency to the Department of Defence and rebranded as UAPTF in 2012, which means it was active at that time. And it was somewhere in there. I mean, is it still there, do you think?
I don't know.
We could go and ring on
an inconspicuous type building.
Yeah. We can knock the door and just see what they say. Let's have a look what it's... It may have been divided into flats now. Right. See, there's no... This property is managed by Helix. All right. There's a reception desk in there. There's no one there. I could go in and... It says press it. Should I press it and see what happens? This is the intercom here, see if anything happens. There's a camera too, they're filming me while I'm filming them. Yeah. There's another camera over there, so they're probably watching me right now. There is, you can actually get in if you've got a code here. Yeah. Yeah. There is a reception desk which is unattended at the moment, you see there. No, I think I could go. Yeah. It's possible after all this time that that particular unit's not actually... Yeah. It's quite like, especially if it's been in the newspaper, that they've actually moved it from this facility. But what that sounds like to me, it sounds like a kind of overseas safe house for the UAPTF. Or whatever they were called. They may have they may have given it a different name back in those days. But I know that, you see, the project was started in 2007, did continue.
Apparently it's funded by US tax dollars.
All right, thank you very much, US taxpayer. Gareth, if you're watching.
2009 boasts a team of mainly American analysis, where it does include a small British contingent who carry out their clandestine work as tourists outside enjoyed the oasis of the Squares Park.
The front of it just looks a stairwell. You can see stairs going up.
And it was saying, obviously, the US colonel would regularly come from Washington, basically, supposedly. So yeah, the pressure was to form a similar unit in the Pentagon which wanted to incorporate the MOD unit instead of serving military service. Decided to move the unit to Soho Square, and I understand that it now has a number of American personnel. It's actually featured in MOD's magazine, so there you go. So
right, so that's interesting, yeah.
Nice little escapade of the day.
Yeah. So we visited the UFO Central here in London. Well, actually, it may not be anymore. That was in 2016 it was. Obviously, a lot's changed since 2016. But Colin, thanks for showing us that. I'm sure the viewers will find that very interesting. Guess where Colin and I are in? We're in our favourite place, the Wetherspoons.
It actually used to be the famous Marquee Club, actually.
Oh, right.
Some famous people have played here.
The rock phenomenon in the mid-60s, yeah. So this was... Is it still called the Marquee?
This is called... Now it's called the Montague Pike.
The Montague Pike, oh, right.
Montague Pike.
But it used to be called the Marquee. It's a famous rock venue here. Yeah. The Who?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you look over there, I don't know if you can zoom in, but there's a few stuff. There's quite a few things. Actually, I'm not even sure if that is.
Oh yeah, look. Just Skiffle and Folk. Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, Colin and I are having a well-deserved pint after our... Cheers.
You saw the sweat dripping off my face.
Another freedom pint for us. Cheers.
This is to all the HPANWO viewers.
Yeah, cheers to HPANWO viewers.
A few more ventures lined up.
I think it's my 4th or 5th freedom pint, which means I've got about 119 left to go. But Colin and I was just going to say, I mean, the energy in London has changed, I think, Colin, it has. And I felt at the moment I got off the coach.
Lockdown, it was very interesting. There was no one around, basically, so, you know. But obviously, you know, it is almost back to normal, if you can call that normal. But yeah, there's always been a dark energy, I think, in some ways, but you might be more susceptible to it than me.
So the area around Buckingham Palace, Westminster, that's always had a bad energy. Yeah.
You don't think they've cleaned out the reptilians underground then?
Unfortunately not. Show everyone your hat, because you've got a good hat. Yeah. You've got a brilliant hat.
So things
Cute. Yeah. I've got my coof mask, which I'll show you. I think you've seen my coof mask.
Yeah.
But, yeah. We
sadly, I think on the underground, the trains just still have to wear it, although it's a bit of a grey area. But Transport for London, officially, you're supposed to have it.
Yeah, it's not a legal requirement, but they do make you wear it as a condition of travel. Which is fine. I'll wear the one with a subversive message, and then hopefully people come up and ask me what it means, and I tell them. I've found that's quite useful. But I just find that this, you know, London, since I last came here, and I can't remember when it was. It wasn't the Trump. It wasn't when I was questioned by the police. It wasn't the Trump thing. It was after that. I did come here. I remember I walked through. I think it was on my way back from something. I can't remember. But oh, that's so good. But it's changed. It's literally changed, isn't it? I don't like the place. I don't like it. But we're not going to be here very long anyway. Colin and I are actually heading elsewhere. We'll show you where in a little while. Colin and I are just making our way through to the station now. This Trafalgar Square back here again. I feel a lot better now I've had a drink. But look, something interesting to show you, right? This is how the world has degenerated. That there is the National Gallery, and that is what today passes for art. Load of cream with a cherry on top. That's an indication, isn't it, of how bloody awful things are in this world. How stupid and how narrow-minded and downright ignorant we've become as a people. This is the River Thames. Waterloo Bridge, that's the railway bridge, the old one. This is a footbridge that goes alongside it, yeah. Well, there's 2 footbridges. Oh, cool. Finally, some fresh air.
Although it's
Yeah, this is the good old Father Thames, and there's the House of Many Fools. I mean, I am. I don't know about you, Colin, but I'm off the Boris train now, well and truly. You know, the last bombshell he dropped on us, I think has convinced me. I think he's beyond repair.
Well, could he might be replaced or cloned?
Yeah. I mean, I've said to him, you know, either he was lying to us from the start. I don't think that's true. Or they've got some dirt on him, which is so bad that maybe something to do with his other kids. You know? Yeah, I mean, he's got other children, and I don't know. Maybe they worked out the ages and found out he was like 14 years old when he had them or something. I don't know. But they've got some dirt on him. Yeah. Oh, look at that. They've got some dirt on him. It means he's well and truly under their thumb. And unfortunately, whether he means to or not, we have to treat him as an enemy based on his actions, regardless of his intentions. So yeah, I'm off the Boris train now. I will never forget what he did for Brexit, but unless he can pull himself out the cesspit he's in now, then yeah. There's the old Big Ben where I was standing when Brexit happened. Yeah, remember that? I'll never forget that. That's something I'll never forget Boris for. Do you notice how there's like the Golden Jubilee bridges? Right. Do you notice how you've got to just keep to the left, keep to the right? I don't know if that's just COVID regulations. Yeah. It might actually be the attempt to impose traffic conditions on pedestrians. So yeah, what happens if I go over here? Alright, and beep beep. Alright, I'll come back there.
Have you had the pedestrian rage before? Because that does happen.
I know. I meet people with pedestrian rage.
Moving human beings walking in front of you.
Yeah, I know. You get pedestrian
someone
rage.
Who just suddenly stops right in front of you.
Yeah, usually Miles gets here whenever someone's between him and the Southgate Inn and he's walking along. Yeah, look at that. Okay, so see just to show behind us.
See the other walkway with people walking on the other side of this.
There's a second footbridge. Why don't they just make this one southbound, the other one northbound? Be done with it. Not have these stupid arrows on the pavement. Can I say I have a head-on collision with one of these people? Okay. Here you go. Head-on collision. Beep, beep, beep. All right. But it's lovely. It's lovely. Nice to see the River Thames for the first time. You know, this particular place has an atmosphere which I can quite like.
Well, you've got the South Bank down here,
yeah.
Which is nice. You've got all the, you've got various bars and food places.
You see, London has the potential to be a really, really lovely city. Actually, it's low tide now, see, you can see the mud. It has the potential to be a lovely city, but it's just everything's, because of the changes that have happened over the last couple of years, it's just too controlled. It's too controlled, it's too big, I just feel I'm under attack everywhere I go. Either I've only got cash, or I'm a white person or something, you know. Wherever you go, it's like, you're not good enough. They've done a lot of building around here. It's starting to look more and more like Dubai every day. South Bank now, and it's actually quite nice. There's this little building here with these symbols here, which look a bit like they might be the flags of some strange countries on other planets. So it's actually quite stylish around here, I think. Yeah, so
I'm not sure they actually.
It's cleaner here than it was north of the river too. So
it's more civilised.
Yeah. So it's
down here they usually have a market on the weekend.
Who's this here? Oh, Nelson. Oh, look. I'm sure that wasn't there. Colin, look, Nelson Mandela. I'm sure that wasn't there before. Or, yes. And it was Looney Tunes. Colin and I are on the train back to his place. Now, it's not a legal requirement for wear masks, but it is a condition of travel on London to Underground. So I've got this one here, where we go when we go. And Colin has his hat.
Thank you.
So we're both Q-bots or Q-tars, depending on your position, and we're hoping to trigger a few people. Maybe people ask us what we're doing and what it means. So it's always good fun. There's always a way you can make these Orwellian laws work for you. So, okay, guys, we're actually in Hounslow, West London right now. And Colin has been telling me a bit about the interesting history of this area. Because we're not far from the airport, are we? The Heathrow Airport, the big airport.
I'm gonna...
But...
park here. Lets me do.
Now, what's down here? What's this? Is
actually, let me see if I can.
Okay, one second. Okay, we parked in a little side street, and Colin is taking me to see something very interesting. It's some interesting HPANWO-esque history in this area, actually. But it's a rather fateful, sort of strange place because we're close to the airport. There's you hear a lot of aeroplanes probably flying over. Miles used to live around here. The base's project headquarters was actually not far from where we are right now. I remember that. Oh dear me, so it's a bit of a. It's actually not a. Some of these houses.
This is the ideal place to find a Templar vault.
A Templar vault, right? Yeah.
Most people.
This is the last year with all the rubbish. It's actually these houses look quite nice, but it's actually a bit down a hill compared to the other areas we've been through, which are a bit posher. But yeah, there is some connection to the Knights Templar here. And Colin was saying that before, what was at on the site of the airport before it was built? Oh, right, here's a pause and read thing. I think we got here now. Donkey wood and Brazil millwood.
No, what we can do. There's another one there, so we can do that. But it's,
oh, look at this. This looks like a golf course there. And you can pause and read these things here.
About the old cottage.
There's the Powdermills, the Dark Satanic Mills, the river.
Well, basically, Hounslow Heath is where I was saying that included the Heathrow Airport, which is just up here on your ground here, basically. But it's quite an extensive land, so.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna have a look. We're going to go in now and have a look around. You know, Colin, it's.
Is it safe to go in?
Well, if you see any guys with long robes and swords, just run. But oh, sorry, I just nearly fell over. So this is
okay, so there's a bit there.
Donkey Wood, there's a bit more here, you can see.
A bit more about.
Feel free to pause and read.
So basically, the River Crane sort of runs through this area, and there's these sort of tributaries called the Duke of Northumberland River, which you'll see in a second. So not far. So we'll have a little walk around.
So, what's all these vaults you're talking about?
So basically, the story is there was this guy who. Came forward actually it was in the Sun newspaper back in December, and he claimed it's quite an interesting story. He hasn't quite revealed all the details of it just yet, but he alludes to going in for an operation and
in hospital, actually.
Yeah, a couple of years ago, and then coming and through that operation, I don't know if he had a near-death experience as such, or something triggered something where he had. Past life memory as being a Templar and concealing something in the riverbank. Now the irony
Templar
is,
treasure, the Holy Grail.
Well, actually, Ben, we can actually go to this other little interest before we get to the main event.
Yeah. Now that would be ironic if the Holy Grail turned up in this rather salubrious area of West London, where there's lots of piles of rubbish everywhere and a few people who look like they're a bit high on drugs. Quite frankly, we're trying to avoid them. As we wend our way through here. This is the River Crane, is it?
This is actually just slightly off the River Crane. So we've got
there's a weir here.
Duke of Northumberland River, I believe. Which is, so where we're actually going to go is down here in a second, but I'm going to take you here.
There's a bit of a pond here, see?
So we'll see that in a second.
Yeah. Oh, cool. It's a nice little wooded area around here.
We'll do a little detour. I'll tell you something.
Yeah. Okay, mate, yeah. Someplace. Doesn't look very nice here.
But if you watch my, you can actually find the video on my alien autopsy group. But you see some stuff that was left here, it's like a pilgrimage, because it's actually further down here. So there was all sorts of bits and pieces that were set up here, and obviously people sort of stay around here. But this is. I'm not sure. I always get confused if this is the River Crane or this is actually I think this is the Duke of Northumberland River that's been dissected off of the. But I just wanted to show you that because there was a bit more of a pilgrimage, but they've taken down all the stuff that I posted in my video. So, but I'm just going to.
So where are we now, Colin?
Yeah. So he had memories of the past life of being Templars who apparently did train on the Hounslow Heath before going into the Holy Land.
Oh, right, for the battle.
Bringing back treasures from I guess the temple of, is it David or Solomon, one of those ones?
Temple of Solomon, yeah.
And yeah, so rumours are that there's some stuff that's been concealed, and we'll have a little look.
Well, the Knights Templar were strange because they were like warrior monks. They were sent to the Crusades, where they played several roles. They did a lot of dangerous behind enemy lines work, rather what in modern warfare would be called special forces. But they also had a spiritual tradition. They were very Gnostic. They apparently had access to ancient knowledge, including, some claim, the Holy Grail, or the bloodline of Jesus. I mean, you heard of the Rennes-le-Château mystery?
Yeah, exactly.
Who hasn't? Yeah, that's a very popular one. Seems to have gone quiet the last few years.
Yeah,
you know, it's sort of stirred up by Dan Brown, but now it's died down again. But this guy had a past life memory of being on Hounslow Heath training for the Crusades.
And the irony is that his house, when he lived here, he now lives in the Forest of Dean, I believe, up in the West Country, sort of Bristol way. But he had memories, because ironically in this lifetime his house is literally overlooking where it was hidden, so that's how he was able to excavate.
Has anyone found the vault?
Well, he found some interesting passages, Ben, underneath it, and if you actually, where are we? That house there. That house is there on the left.
Right.
Yes,
there's another. Well, you've already seen that. I think that's just a copy of the original one. But this house here.
This one looking at so if you look at the Sunday newspaper article, you can actually find out about.
Right. It's nice the sun cover interesting things for a change.
So they actually did drain. They did actually drain this river about a month or so ago. But it's down here. I think there's supposed to be like there's under the water. It's if you go. John Bowers, his name is the guy, and yeah, it's just very interesting. So he lived. I think he lived on that house there. And I think his girlfriend might still live there. But it's just very interesting. This area is apparently the term riverbank used to come. The idea that it was a bank. The bank used to,
really?
Yeah, that's where. There's lots of information.
So the very phrase, the name, the word bank.
Yeah, apparently it comes from that, and there's a whole lot of esoteric information. And so we could literally be standing on top of a vault, which might go under, because apparently they raised it. They built up when after this happened, there's some lord of Northumberland who bought this area, and they literally built a whole town on top of it. So really, it's underneath us, you see. So it's that's very interesting. So,
extremely. Yeah.
So I just thought, because we're on our way now to see Watford and see our friend, but this is actually, we could literally be standing in a holy place, and what's actually in there is up for debate. I think he has suggested that there may be something like a book there or something. Yeah. So maybe not so much the Holy Grail, but maybe some truth about Jesus and the bloodline and all that sort of stuff. So
who knows? I mean, the Templars.
We don't know. But usually these things will appear when we most need them. It's a bit like King Arthur. Yeah. So. And I think there is connection with King Arthur, because I think the battle, one of the last battles of King Arthur, is connected with that, and that was apparently, and I forget the name of the battle, but for a lot of people that last battle was actually on Hounslow Heath with King Arthur.
Plane going over here. Lots of planes here. Yeah, it's. I always say, like, there's a legend that King Arthur will return one day, when England needs him.
Oh yeah, exactly.
But I mean, I sometimes think if that were true, I think he'd have come back probably quite a few years ago, because I don't think of any more greater needs does the country have than now.
But maybe this could be in the next few weeks. We might have reactivated it then.
Maybe we were the 100th monkey. We needed to come here. Yeah, but you know, it's fun, like, because the Templars, when they got to Jerusalem, you know, they did excavation at the Temple Mount, where the Al-Aqsa Mosque now stands, and. No one knows what they actually found, but they did find the remains of their excavations, and apparently they dug. It must have been quite an operation, because they had to basically dig through very hard ground and rock about 20 feet down, and they found. No one knows what they found there.
That's the trouble.
But
it's a bit like the pyramids and what's underneath there and all that stuff, and the Sphinx and all that.
But when they returned to Europe, they were immediately excommunicated, and the Pope ordered that they be tortured to give up as much information as possible and burned at the stake. This happened on, very fateful day, Friday the 13th, I remember it was, 1383, 1308 or something like that.
Malay, wasn't it?
Yeah, Jacques de Molay, yeah. And there's rumours that the remains, that the Templars, the knights themselves, went underground. I mean, you see, they say that some of them got wind of what was going to happen to them and fled on their ships. Their ships very, very fast corsairs.
See, this is very similar to the Crane Park. If you see millstones where they used to make gunpowder and stuff. If you look at that,
yeah.
You see these scattered throughout Crane Park, which goes back to all towns.
So this is where they used to make gunpowder?
Yeah, but there's also a shot tower. If you go back towards in the other direction, if you go to Crane Park, you can actually...
so that's the remains of a powder mill. So we went past a road called Powder Mill Lane.
Exactly, and, I used to live just off there, funny enough.
How interesting this area, its association with war and the military.
Yeah, that's true.
Which came a lot later, much after, many centuries after the Templars. Because the busiest time for the powder mill was during the Napoleonic War, which is when William Blake wrote about it, the Dark Satanic Mills. So that's an interesting coincidence there, Colin.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it could be a centre of power, and of course Heathrow Airport is obviously literally built on the Hounslow Heath. So again, you've got a huge possible ley line or something happening there, and it's being energised with people flying in from around the world. So it makes you think about how these things appear and for what reason, and how things are all connected from different ages of time, really.
Yeah, I mean, there's many places you could build an airport, but it just seems somehow fateful. And also there's all kinds of weird things about... sorry, I had something in my head, I lost it. I forgot what I was going to say.
No,
but the idea that there may still be some Knights Templar still around. I mean, there's many organisations calling themselves the Knights Templar. I think Anders Breivik, the guy who supposedly shot up I don't know if it was him, I mean, there's rumours, people question that, who supposedly killed like about half a 50 or so children on an island in Norway. He was a part of a group, he called himself the Knights Templar.
Do you not belong to some type of logging group?
Some type of what, sorry?
You belong to a type of logging group.
Logging?
Yeah, why you got a camera?
Oh, I like making videos and things like that, yeah. It's an interesting area, you know. Oh, just history and things. History, yeah. The Knights Templar.
What's the Templar?
Oh, they were warrior knights during the Crusades.
Like Jedi Knights, you know, Star Wars.
Yeah.
Seriously,
where is it?
Just if you just go over the bridge, turn left, and it's sort of, you can't see it. It's actually it's on the riverbank.
What's there?
Well, it's supposedly supposed to be a vault where they brought back artefacts from Jerusalem during.
But no one knows exactly.
Yeah.
So if you find it,
sacred artefacts.
Well, let someone know, man.
Yeah.
Because it's history. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. We've won another one over there.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. But it is it's interesting how these places become charged with energy, where different sort of things appear. You know, they seem to draw different types of activities to them. You know, it's like it's just a weird thing. It's like there is, you know, once something gains a kind of energy, the same sort of things tend to happen in that area at different times. You know, it's... Anyway, Colin, thanks for showing us this little bit of local mystery. If we ever find the vault, who knows what's in it? If we do find one vault and we know what's in it...
I try and get an interview with Miles at some point, so I reached out to him last December, so... Yeah, I think there'll be something more. I think he's got more to say in the future. So.
Yeah, definitely. So if we ever find out more, we'll let you know. I mean, it would be quite something if we did have whoever was King Arthur came back at the same time as JFK Jr. because they're similar sort of figures. And I just wonder, like, maybe there is something fateful that's going to happen in the next few weeks. We'll see anyway. Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Watford. I'm here with my friend Dave, who you'll remember from previous productions. We are heading out for breakfast. We're actually going to get some proper breakfast in a nice place that Dave knows, where you can get proper breakfast. It's another very hot day here, and I slept like an absolute log last night. It was really, really good. Oh man! And we had a lovely time last night. We had some pizzas, we had a few bottles of beer and stuff, and with Colin, and we watched a very good film, The 11th Green, which I've reviewed on HPANWO Voice, and and I'm going to talk about it in the next UFO disclosure video, actually. But Dave, that was a good movie, wasn't it?
Yeah, very interesting about Eisenhower and UFOs, and yeah, it's very sort of compelling.
Yeah, I do recommend that movie, actually. If you've not seen it, The 11th Green, you can get it on Amazon for $3.99. It's just to rent, but it should really be mainstream, like full release, I think, on cinemas and things, because it's a film that I think their time has come, because it's completely open and unapologetic about being about UFOs and about the secret government and the deep state and how it keeps the secret of free energy and UFOs from the people. Obama. There's real people in, like Jack Forrestal, the guy who supposedly killed himself but didn't, and Dwight Eisenhower and President Barack Obama. It's told through flashback. So yeah, do watch that. Anyway, here we are in Watford. We're going to have breakfast and then meet up with Colin, and then we're going to head for the conference later on. So we're now in Jenny's Cafe. Yeah, which Dave,
looking out over St Albans Road.
Dave very much recommends it. I've not tried their wares yet, but I'll let you know. But we've been talking at the UFO Truth Magazine conference about the speakers, because along with me, there's others, aren't there?
On the conference, Simon Parkes, and Harry Challenger, Ben,
Maria Wheatley, and Colin, and we've got a mystery speaker. That's what we think,
Darren Brown, not the one from Channel 4, but he's not got a photograph on his bio, so we think he might be a mystery speaker, don't we?
Yeah, we've just been. So this is something I've been thinking about since the conference began. I've never heard of a Darren Brown. It's not Darren Brown. That's the skeptic, the magician. The guy who's on TV all the time.
Yeah.
Darren Brown. And Dave and I were thinking about that. Maybe there's no photograph or bio associated with this person. So now, when Kerry asked me to speak, she insisted that I provide her with a photograph and a short bio and blurb, and I did. Now, this Darren Brown, who no one's heard of, I think it's code. It's a mystery speaker. Kerry doesn't want to say who it is, and she's putting it as a fake name. And when people turn up, she'll announce who it is. Now, Dave, any ideas? You see, there we go. Completely blank profile. Darren Brown, 620 to 720 for me. I was just wondering, Dave, any ideas who Darren Brown might be?
It's not Miles, is it?
No, it won't be Miles.
Maybe it's a whistleblower. Maybe it's some sort of high category whistleblower or something. Obama? No.
That's what I was wondering. I mean, Obama. I was thinking of Obama simply because he was in that movie last night, the President of the United States. He was actually one of the characters of the film you saw, The 11th Green.
Which is really good, by the way. You definitely watch the 11th Green. It's all about Eisenhower meeting Obama and aliens and stuff, but it's a high production value. But the mystery speaker, maybe it's me. Maybe it's me.
It could, Dave. You wouldn't tell us if you was.
No, I wouldn't tell you. I'd go along with this. So you never know. But
you're a good actor.
Mind you, I'm a good actor, but there wouldn't be anything much for me to say really that you don't already know. So.
You should try it. You should try it. You never know. But you see, I think it might be some kind of. It might be some kind of whistleblower who doesn't want their name known. It may be someone very well known, like Lou Elizondo or something. I don't know. Thank you. It may be Lou Elizondo. The guy who does the UAP revelations. You've not heard of Lou Elizondo? He's very. He does the UAP revelations in the news and stuff like that.
Oh, okay, from the Pentagon stuff.
Yeah. It might be him. It might be. We'll have his messianic royal muscliness. Hello, everybody. I am your Messiah. No, because if it was Greer, you're only giving him 1 hour, so I doubt it's Greer. If it's Greer, you have to put him on the end and give him like 3 hours.
There'll be room for his security team and bodyguards.
Exactly, and woe betide anyone who interrupts him. No, if it was Greer, I'd have to forget my talk because he'd run over.
Katrina would have to construct a perimeter around the speaker.
Thanks very much. Lovely. Cheers. Because he'd be mobbed by all his adoring fans.
Then, yeah, and you'll see, guys, the quality of the breakfast here. Ben will show you now.
Nice. That looks very nice, doesn't it? Yeah, so I think I'll get stuck in. So, yeah, see you later. Well, I'm with Colin here.
Hello.
And we're heading on the little road towards High Elms Manor. It's been a while since I've been here, actually. Did you go to last? You went to one last year?
Funny enough, the last one was March 2020. Literally, just as social distancing type of nonsense was coming in. So I think it was about 13th of March. I think 10 days later, then the big shutdown began. But there was already sort of people talking about it. So yeah, I think Mars talked, and I think Tony Topping was. I was looking at the email earlier. So. Yeah, no, it's been over, what's that, 12, 16 months then?
Yeah. I can't remember whether I went to... I mean, if you'll know simply if you watch this channel, just go and check my catalogue because I would have filmed it. I don't remember whether I went to that one or not. I went to the one... I know I went to one where I was speaking beforehand. No, so I wasn't speaking at that one. This is only the second time I've spoken here, actually. It's here, I think. Yes, it's in here, actually. Oh, yes it is, yeah. It's starting to look familiar.
It's been a while since I've...
Yeah, there's a... It's a bit bumpy. Yeah, there's a... Hop Garden Way, yeah. Yeah, here it is. High Elms Manor. This is the loveliest UFO conference venue in the world. Quite something.
And it might sadly be the last one, Ben, so it's quite sad.
This is the sad thing. It is actually they are moving. The Academy's moving. This is very sad. The Academy will continue, but it won't be here. They are actually unfortunately not having the. I remember that big tree. I remember that big tree. And we have arrived. We have arrived again. So Colin, that's great. Colin and I've been reminiscing about old. Computer games and things.
Oh yeah, nostalgia. Talking about Crash, UCL Sinclair, Spectrum, 128K.
Yeah,
it's nostalgia. That's what happens when you live in, like a form of tyrannical times. You start looking with rose-tinted glasses in the past, and you look to nostalgia and things like that. But
we do, yeah, we do.
But, anyway,
I think we're a bit early. Can we go in?
Well, no, we're bang on. 4 o'clock.
Good. Right, okay, here we go. And here we are in the famous garden terrace at High Elms Manor. It's good to be back here. Oh, they've got like a cricket pavilion. They've got set up a cricket pavilion over there. I'm going to go now, Colin, I'm just going to go and have a look at that cricket pavilion. Oh, cricket is my favourite sport. It's really, really great. Oh, yes, I'm that much of a racist. They got a side screen and football. There's a football net, there's a goal net as well. Football goal. There's a little gazebo we talked about before. Oh, yeah. Actually, I've just had some good news. I actually spoke to Katrine, rather than got it from the horse's mouth, rather from... that's not an insult to Katrine, by the way. Got it from the horse's mouth rather than rumours. The UFO Academy is going to continue here at High Elms Manor. It's going to continue. Katrine is going to rent a space for the UFO Academy from the new owners. So that's great news. That's fantastic news. It's going to continue here. I feel like I did when I found out that if you remember my St Helena videos, when I found out that the RMS St Helena was not going to be scrapped. So it's a bit like that. And here we are. That is a good old-fashioned traditional cricket pavilion. It's quite small, but you don't need much. You don't need much space. This wasn't here last time I was here. I haven't been here for almost 2 years, and it's all brand new. And look at this. As you see, it's still being constructed by the look of it. And if I can go inside, it's locked. Otherwise, there we are. And there's a scoring. There's a scoring tile there, putting up the scores. Yeah. And here's the sight screen for cricket. And that there is a wonderful view of High Elms Manor. Yeah, that'll probably be my title pick actually, for that and thumbnail. That's wonderful. If you're not into cricket and you fancy something a bit more uncouth. There's your football. There's a thing for football. Already bumped into a few people I know. Lorraine, who's the Marshall V and Summers lady, she's here with her ubiquitous stall. I think she turns up at nearly all of these events with her. She gave me a book actually, which I read a bit of, and I wasn't sure quite what to make of it. It's quite interesting, but you know, I sort of entertain ideas without necessarily accepting them. But she's there with her friend. I saw Mike Oram and Fran Pickering and their friend, whose name I can't remember, being reintroduced to people. It's like I've set up my stall as well, which I'll show you in a minute, and I'm hoping, can't wait to meet all the other people as well. This is the first time I've been to an evening conference here at the High Elms Manor. Most of them like weekends, and more and more people arriving. The conference is due to start very soon. Oh yeah, got to start preparing myself for my talk. I also do get a bit nervous, even though I feel kind of more confident now than I did before the Basis project. Already decided to make a few changes, but there's this gazebo here. One of the features here at the manor. So it's so charming, this little spot here. Yeah, this is the perfect place actually if you want to. They do a lot of wedding receptions here, and this is used in productions as well. A lot of location shots for TV and movies. This has appeared in Doctor Who. It's appeared in loads of movies, so you'll recognise the place if you're a big TV fan. And I'm so glad the Academy's going to continue here. I really am. Going to see some more people. In the auditorium now. I'll be started in a moment. Looks like we've got every seat full. The first speaker calls himself Harry Challenger. This is the Thursday one, Harry. Then Darren Brown, who's a real person apparently. Then me, and then Simon Parkes. So yeah, it's very hot in here, and this is so hot. When the weather gets hot, this room always gets very warm. So it looks still be fun. Looking forward to it. The speaker, someone who called himself Harry Challenger. I don't know why he used that name, because his name is actually, I can't remember his other name, but he's one of the founders of this academy, and in fact he founded it with Katrine and John in 2009. But he's been the editor of Flying Saucer Review since 1996, and FSR is the oldest British journal of ufology. It started in 1955. Came out of the Flying Saucer Club, and so that's to be congratulated. And he talked about a series of cases he had, such as an alien that looked like a woman, but it was 6 foot 6 feet tall, obviously humanoid. Some aliens do look like that. This thing turned up on somebody's doorstep, and you described it as having like a makeup and things like that on it. And also, it reminded me a little bit actually of the stories of the Black-Eyed Kids, if you remember those. He's interviewed, hello Colin, alright, it's Colin. He interviewed a lot of witnesses as well, and one of the stories he talked about was really interesting. It reminded me of Ellis Taylor. It was quite alarming actually, because about a group of people who think they're on a police helicopter. They get onto a police helicopter. Ellis Taylor had this effect with the pilots, and the pilots look like humans. One of them, again, is a feminine humanoid that was very attractive and was actually so appealing to this man that he started. And this woman was apparently flirting with him, so they ended up having sex in their helicopter. And then guess what? She turns into a reptilian, which was a pretty traumatising experience for him, as you can well imagine. They're on flagrant, and she turns into a reptilian halfway through, which traumatised them. They're not, you see, they're not all friendly, and this is, people tend to make judgments of the aliens based on possibly their own experiences of them, and other reasons, but extraterrestrials appear to be very, very different. There's so many different kinds. There's so many different species. They seem to have a wide variety of agendas. They exhibit many, many different types of behaviour. So, I don't. If you have an experience with an extraterrestrial, you can't really project that onto all beings of non-human origin. UFO Academy is named after Plato's Academy, where based on logos. This logos is where you get logic from. I know Stephen Molyneux says that Aristotle invented logic, but Plato did. You can see a debate coming on. Wilhelm Reich, he mentions, was into UFOs. The ancient aliens, which is a very big, interesting subject. And you know that shadow beings as well. He interviewed a couple who were on holiday in Brittany, off the coast of France, and they saw a shadow being walking into the water and coming out again. And basically an outline of a human being, like the thing that Jonathan Downes saw there. And there's in Reading, this is not far from me, there was aliens in Reading. And one of them is kind of like, was like a feminine alien, that shadow being, walking on the water of a lake. I have to look into that myself, I think. And they say they have a base called North Star. Now, North Star is actually a base in Greenland, or used to be anyway, an American military base, which was basically tunnelled underneath the ice. They put nuclear weapons there, they could launch them against Russia. There's interesting Q&A. One guy said that, why do aliens sometimes appear in front of people who are not able to assimilate the information? People who may not be very educated or intelligent, or children. Aliens seem to like children. You know, they appear in schools, places like New Haven, Wales, Brewer, Zimbabwe, the Westall School in Melbourne, Australia. That's a good question, and I didn't quite follow the results. But anyway, interesting first speaker at this conference. Okay, I've had to come out early from Darren Brown's talk. I'll say more about that maybe later because I did make a few notes, but I had to leave after half an hour to make preparations for my own talk, which is up next. So I was sitting here on my own on the terrace while everyone else is watching Darren, and well, wish me luck, guys, or rather, tell me to break a leg. Hi there, I'm just about to start my talk. I've got my things here. You'll be hearing the audio on that, and I put the windbreak on because of the fan there, which is going to be very necessary. In a few minutes, there's the laptop there. People will be returning to do, and I'll be able to do my talk. So, feeling a little bit nervous. You get a few butterflies, like you always do at times like this, but really, I feel fairly confident. By the way, if you watch the Bases Project reportage, do watch this one as well. Because don't skip this talk, because this talk's going to be slightly different to the one I did at Bases. I've taken a few slides out and moved a couple. I'm going to add a few more, or go into more detail in certain areas. Same amount of time, 1 hour, so just shifted a bit of the information around. I'm smartly attired, as you can see. Only the best for the UFO Academy. Sorry, Miles, but you're just too informal for me to dress up for you. I've done my talk. It's now quite late. I haven't filmed anything since, but I've watched Simon Parkes and do his talk. I'll tell you more about Simon Parkes tomorrow because I'm a bit tired now. But I'm here with Colin. Hello. And with Dave. Gentlemen, you'll recognise them before. And we're sitting out, just having an informal sky watch stroke, drink, and food.
Gibbous moon, Ben. I looked it up. And it's also a moon in Scorpio.
Oh, right.
There you go.
When the moon is in Scorpio.
I think it's hidden behind that tree.
No.
But you can see the light coming off.
Yeah,
I think there's a full moon in 2 days, apparently.
There's that famous big tree. I've got to visit that big tree before I go.
They call it the, what do they call it?
It's a yew tree,
They call it the Godzilla tree or something.
Yeah, see it close at night.
Looks like Godzilla. Or used to, isn't it?
My talk went very well, though, as you've already heard my talk anyway. But I think I added a little bit to it from when we did it at the Bases. I think it went better, actually. I did a better job. Got to get back in my stride. But I'm tired now, so I'm going to go home to bed soon, I think. But I'm staying with Dave, so good night, everyone. See you tomorrow. Well, good morning. It's Friday morning. I've slept very well. I'm here with my friend Dave, who you all know. Hello. We're at Dave's place. I've slept very well on this lovely settee of his, which is a bit longer than Miles's. I can stretch my legs out on it. No offence, Miles. I woke up to watching GB News, which is like a breath of bloody fresh air. It really is. And so very, very good news that the government is in serious trouble over its vaccine passport. It's facing a backbench rebellion. They could even lose the vote on the first debate, which means which means the bill is dead in the water. Even if it passes, it'll pass quite narrowly and it'll be subject to amendments in the House of Lords and maybe even repeal. Bad luck, Boris. You should have stuck by your guns, you big wimp. Come on. Now come back and be Britain's Trump. Yeah, I was a bit tired yesterday after doing my talk. We went outside on the terrace and we had long conversations together. It was really, really great. And I sold 2 books, which is lovely. Roswell Revealed and Roswell Redeemed. Now, I didn't actually review Darren Brown's talk because I was just too busy getting ready for my own, because I followed him immediately. But he's a paranormal investigator. He has something called the 3 Counties Paranormal Group. 3 counties are Hertfordshire, Bedfordshire, Buckinghamshire. The last speaker after me was Simon Parkes. It was lovely to see him again. I went up and had a quick chat with him. I've missed him. I missed all these people that I regularly bump into at places like this. And he brought up what the subject that I brought up, which was the return of Trump. He went into more detail about it. And he painted a very, very happy, rosy picture of what's possibly coming. He's about JFK Jr. returning. Because the bad guys, he claimed, won from when John F. Kennedy was assassinated, Senior, the president, in 1963, to 9/11. But he says now the bad guys are in trouble, and because Kennedy wanted to bring in the gold standard and do away with the fiat economy, which I touched on in my talk, which is why he was shot. Oddly enough, Abraham Lincoln wanted to do the same thing in 1865. And what happened to him, eh? Yeah. He says that a lot of people are complaining this is dragging on, and I've heard people make this complaint about Simon when Simon says these things. And Simon says you've got to be patient. You have to be patient in this sort of thing, and that's true, unfortunately. I don't know if I go along with everything Simon says. I'd want it to be true. I'd like it to be true. I listened to him and Charlie Ward, and it sounds very persuasive, and he presents interesting evidence. But you know, it's I'm not sure exactly. Some people, apparently Lloyd's Bank is in trouble now because people can't get money out of them. And he talks about the quantum computers. Now Kev Baker is very interested in this too. And that both sides are now using quantum computers. They have actually been developed. Now Q is still alive. This is good news. Q, and whoever he, she, or they are, has their headquarters in Scottsdale, Arizona, USA, which is something, you know. And then, oddly enough, what he said that Connecting Consciousness, his organisation, has seized some money from the bad guys, and they're making gold coins with RFID chips in, linked to Starlink satellites. 4,000 bankers have been arrested. The Democrats have been dropped by the banking system, which is why they won't pay the £1 million to channel the Arizona recount. He talks about Nazara and Jassara, which I've not looked into in detail. Simon, you can see he's talked about the need for having bodyguards. He didn't stay for long. He just went straight. He came in, did his speech, and went straight out. I think he's a bit nervous. He says he might have to go into hiding, which would explain that. And he gave some people in the audience some 5 billion Zimbabwean dollar notes, because as you know, the Zimbabwe dollar has crashed thanks to Robert Mugabe and his regime. But he says he can present £25 for each one if you take your note to his next conference. Yeah, he talks about lots of other things, such as when he was in the Labour Party. The Labour Party would say things like they needed to keep people poor, so they would keep voting Labour, which it doesn't surprise me. It really doesn't. He mentioned that China is actually not the bad guy, because China gets a lot of a bad rap, even from people on our side. But he said what you hear about China is actually not true. They're not the bad guy. And this reminds me of Raza Vihari, who's developing free energy in China right now. That's a long story, but if you go to HPANWO Radio, not TV, radio, I've done an interview with a guy called Raza Vihari on the subject of free energy. He's working in China right now developing free energy systems, which at some point are going to be moved to the entire world, which, in that case, if that happens, then forget, the New World Order's absolutely fucked. It's never going to happen. So if that happens, that's one of these sort of lines you cross and you know you've won. That is kind of the finish line, would be UFO disclosure or free energy disclosure, and the two will go together. Apparently Boris is not evil. That's something that
which Simon said, which meshes with what I've said. He's weak, he's controlled, but he's not evil, which means there is still maybe hope for him. Matt Hancock that dismissal was the good guys who managed to get in there and expose him. So interesting talk by Simon. He's always interesting as our Simon. I watch his interviews with Charlie Ward a lot. I've got this friend called Viv who always sends me information on Simon. And I'm actually doing a talk for one of the Connecting Consciousness groups. One of them came up to me afterwards and asked me if I'd do a talk for them. So once I've got that finalised and I have the details, I will let you know. I'll post the details on HPANWO Voice. So yeah, I'm looking forward now to day 2 of this conference. Yeah, Dave and I are going to have some breakfast and then we're going to head up there.
Okay, I'm just walking up towards High Elm Manor now. This is Stanborough Park on St Albans Road, and what is this place? Does it say there? Pedestrian access to St Albans Road. Let's see. British Union Conference? I don't know. That there looks like a fly trap, you know, like at the Wenceslas mine for the anti-gravity craft. Strange looking place. Don't know what it is. What we got here? Seventh-day Adventist Church, eh? Oh. It's obviously not short of a few pence. Right, some of you might recognise this little alleyway from previous video in the series where I go to High Elms Manor, because I've walked along it before. I'm walking to High Elms Manor. The doors open in about 5 minutes time and I'll probably arrive just slightly late for that. It's not a problem. The actual events don't start till 4 PM. Hopefully Kerry Cassidy will have got out of quarantine by then. She's been stuck in Heathrow Airport in the Lurgy Centre having PCR tests every 6 hours until she can be declared free of the plague, in which case she's free to wander Britain, super spreading to her heart's content. But hopefully she couldn't make it yesterday, which is why I swapped slots with her. I was going to be speaking this afternoon, she was going to speak yesterday. Now she's speaking today. I'm speaking yesterday. I walked from here from Jenny's Cafe about an hour. I left just about 3/4 an hour ago. Time was getting on. You know, Dave and I were having such fun, having such a lovely meal. And I suddenly realised it's 2 PM. We need to get a move on. Dave wants to go and have a shower, which is fair enough before he gets up here. We weren't sure exactly how we were going to do this. We tried to order an Uber, didn't work. And and I could have got the bus. I wasn't sure which one to get or how far to go. Buses are difficult ways of getting around if you want it local, as they say in the League of Gentlemen. So in the end, I chose the hospital portering solution. I decided to walk the whole way. Yes, as a truth shows, I still have that hospital portering spirit inside me. I'm now just probably about 1/4 an hour's walk away from High Elms Manor. Had a lovely walk up St Albans Road. A gang of about 20 Jewish children, or sort of teenagers, stopped to ask me directions as if I was a local who knew where I was going. I just said, "This is St Albans Road, mate, and here's my map." Can't really help them much there. There's a school over there, as you see. I remember this actually from last time. So that's good. Some interesting speakers lined up for today. Colin is deciding to. He's being the escort for Mr. John Enoch of Guyam TV, who's going to be doing a long talk. He's quite good actually. I've seen a couple of videos with him in. He's quite a flamboyant Canadian guy. So he's been staying. He was in quarantine for a bit, but he's out now. And yeah, a nice second day of the conference awaits us, I think. And if I'm not much mistaken, we are now approaching High Elms Lane, which leads to High Elms Manor. So she'll be there in a minute. I'm at the manor now. I've made it, and I'm just looking at these really old books. Look at this. Put Yourself in This Place by Charles Reed. This is something I've never heard of before. I'll check the Wi-Fi. Look at this. Piccadilly novels. The Besant. Mark Buchanan. Mrs. Lubbock Cameron. 1885. Oh, look. Look at the illustrations. These are real classics. There's some more here, look. Amazing. What a collection. Now, I can't come to High Elms Manor and not say a massive, massive hello to the Godzilla tree. This huge cedar is an absolute centerpiece of the grounds of this beautiful house. There's the pavilion I went to yesterday for the cricket. Godzilla tree, probably standing here, probably almost as long as that building, maybe even longer. And maybe think of the ringing cedars of Russia and Anastasia. Yeah, I'm heading towards the good old Godzilla tree. I've had many interesting conversations beneath these branches over the years, both with other people and with the tree himself. Huge, look at that, that's so tall. That's so good to see him every single time I come here. I look forward to seeing the Godzilla tree. What a huge monster of a tree. I don't know exactly what kind of cedar it is, but you see the cedar nuts on there. And they're very healthy, actually, according to Vladimir Bergray's book. They contain life-giving products, the oil you get from the cedar nuts. And here is its trunk. Wow, look at that. How old is that? Hello, my old friend, how are you? It's good to see you again. Here's the green outside. There's the Godzilla tree there, the football goal, and we've had many an interesting conversation here too, including a couple of really good sky watchers on this spot. So yeah, we had a little one last night. Maybe we'll do another tonight. And here is the famous fountain. It's also Jane Eyre, isn't it? It's also Pride and Prejudice. Pride and Prejudice. That's what Brideshead Revisited meets Close Encounters of the Third Kind. That best sums up this little place, I think. There we are. I love the sound of it. This is today's events. Awaken Aware, Friday. Johnny Enoch, Kerry Cassidy, Mike Oram, Colin Walford, Maria Wheatley. I'm pleased to say that Kerry is here. She's managed to escape from quarantine, which is really great. She's free to play and got wander. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Colin and I are in the auditorium. Day 2, Friday, is about to start. And our first speaker is John Enoch. He'll be coming up shortly, talking about Contact Has Begun. Wicked. Had an interesting talk by Johnny Enoch of Gaia TV, and he only had 45 minutes, but he went on a bit longer, so it's sort of like there's like a mini break instead of the main one. But he's a very suave, well-dressed kind of guy because he's always on Gaia TV. I've never subbed to Gaia TV, but I've watched a couple of their freebies, and I think they're very good. They're all like Zohar, you know, the one I've made videos for. He had a religious background, and he rebelled against it, but he didn't rebel against it by becoming a Dawkinsian atheist. He rebelled by becoming like an esoteric person like me. And he talks about astronauts like Maya Jennison, who believes in UFOs. And he talked about how he got stuck in Egypt because of the coronavirus. And he was with Brian Forrester, of course, who you know from UFO Truth magazine. But they gave him a chance to visit some chambers under the pyramid. Now, what's the rest? I've made some notes, so I can't even read. He mentions Chris Hadfield. Now, Chris Hadfield is a Canadian astronaut who was commander of the International Space Station. Now, unlike more sensible people like Helen Sharman and several other Gennady Strakalov and people like that, and Gordon Cooper, he doesn't believe in aliens. And so Johnny had to apologise for his fellow Canadian. What does those notes say? You know, empty something? Oh yeah. You know, you've heard about the scandal of empty cities in China. China they're building huge cities, and there's up to 80,000 empty homes in these cities. What's going on? What are they for? He thinks they're for aliens. The aliens are going to land because some aliens are among us. Some guy was showing me Bud Hopkins' latest book about aliens, things like that. There we go. He mentions Roswell and back engineered stuff and the secret experiments by the government and the Ray Kurzweil as well. He thinks that the technocratic dictatorship, including the transhumanism which I've talked about, is coming. It'll be dressed up as an attempt to extend life expectancy, increase human memory and cognition and things like that, but it'll all be part of the New World Order and to turn us into, as Max Egan says, to turn us into these monsters, that because they'll dress it as something nice to present it to people, but it won't be for our benefit. We'll be like the Epsilons from Brave New World. Very interesting chap. I've just met him. He's a friend of Colin's. I did speak to him briefly, and he seems a nice chap. Hopefully I get to talk to him a bit more later as well. So yeah, good stuff. Kerry Cassidy's up next. She's just getting ready over there. She's made it. She has escaped, as I said, from her quarantine. She is safe. Not going to super spread to everyone. I'm curious to see what she has to say. She's the organiser of this conference. Has only just arrived. Yeah. Day 2 is well underway. Well, that was another very interesting talk there. That was Kerry Cassidy this time, talking about nanotechnology. And she described a lot of her own experience, not least that there is nanotechnology in the vaccines and also in the test, the PCR test. She's even got evidence. She got evidence from her partner Neil, who has a microscope. There's a jeweler's, like a jeweler's eyeglass, where they managed to get a photograph of a really strange, weird object within PCR tests, which is inserted into the body when you insert the thing up your nose. It's like they're trying to take over the bodies, is the thing. It's the Illuminati want to change us. They want to change us into monsters. They don't want to get rid of us because they need somebody to dominate. It wouldn't be any fun for them if they didn't. So she touched on a lot of what Johnny Enoch did about transhumanism, how it's sold to us as something good, beneficial, to improve us, but in fact it's designed to destroy us, to put us into weird kind of limbo, or turn us into biological robots. She mentioned Michael Crichton, of course, a well-known writer of science fiction thrillers with a medical or biological theme to them. I've not really read any of his books, maybe I should check them out. But she also says that we can ourselves control nano. Our own spiritual side to ourselves is powerful enough to overcome the nanobots. And I hope that's true. I mean, if you think about it, just see what we've kind of achieved, even with all this. See how we've stood up to them, see how so much the Illuminati agenda has not worked. It's like I said in my talk, they're not all powerful, they don't have everything their way. So good talk there by Kerry, very good, glad she got here to do it. Not allowed to go up these stairs, they're roped off, but look at that amazing tapestry. I don't know who did that, but it's an incredible work of art. There's lots of interesting paintings and things in this particular house as well. I don't know who that is, but there's supposedly maybe someone of the family that lived here. It's a signature. Yeah, I think that's maybe the same person who's a bit older. Slightly old-fashioned clothing, indicating that there's a Montessori school here, see. I've just come out, Mike Oram is doing his talk. I just had to get out and have a cup of coffee and a bite to eat. See, all the speakers are running over, and they essentially eliminated the breaks, or they very much shortened the breaks to keep the schedule going, and as a result, basically with just one speaker after another, which means I've had to come out and have a bit of a break. But I'm going to go back in. I don't want Mike Oram to think I'm ignoring him, so I'm going to go back in there now. I've just missed the first half hour of his talk, so right. But here we are. This is the Highhounds Manor. Now this here are the stalls. I'll show you the stalls. Alien interface. That's Mike and Fran. I've actually read that and sent it Ben. Let's welcome yes by Ray L. Oh my goodness me. Thereby hangs a tale. That's a good book. Does it rain in other dimensions? I've read that one. There's Fran's book about colour therapy. Of course, you know these ones. This is Lorraine's stall here, by Marshall Ryan Summers. I just picked up a copy of that. And this is Charmaine's Crystals. And this fella you'll know from Probe. Still with us, even though the Probe conference is not. Here we are, look. He's still got his band, he's still got his armband on. Well, the penultimate speaker at this conference was my old mate Colin Woolford. Yeah, he did his little talk. And I'll tell you what, it was very, very interesting. I don't think I'll look at Star Trek the same way ever again. There's, he talks about, well, see, I do like Star Trek. I mean, I've not watched all of them. I've not watched all of them at all. And he talked about the Star Trek Enterprise, that is the prequel, that's the series. I mean, I've lost track of all the different series. I sort of stopped after TNG, really, because Deep Space Nine wasn't very good. Discovery is like a woke fest. I don't like it. Like most science fiction now, it's just gone downhill and become all very left-wing. But Gene Roddenberry, the creator of Star Trek, is a fascinating individual, and there's a lot of facts about him that are not known to many people, not even Star Trek fans. He was very, very interested in psychical research and ufology, and he actually features in a book that I've read called The Only Planet of Choice by Philip Schlemmer. It was edited by Mary Bennett of the Owlis Publishers. A very interesting book indeed, channeled information from the Council of Nine, and indeed Gene Roddenberry was a part of these sessions, these channeling sessions from these extraterrestrials. He talked about in Star Trek. There's some very interesting elements to some of the aliens that appear, and the classic ones, of course, are the Klingons and the Romulans. But there are many, many other species, and believe it or not, some of the Star Trek aliens actually resemble figures from ufology, aliens discovered by ufologists. The Gorn, which is a famous reptilian humanoid, there's this very rather funny scene where Kirk is fighting with this reptilian. It's a bit of unintentional comedy there, really. It is a classic extraterrestrial. He's a classic reptilian humanoid. Now he talks about the Zindi, the Zindi, which is a planet. It's a planet where there's these different creatures on, which appears in the prequel series. And again, it's ufology. Ufology has inspired this particular series. There's avians and things like that. Well, we know about from Corey Good, but there's also insectoids, that sort of Simon Parkes' alien family, and then of course Colin had to go on to the alien autopsy, didn't he? A very, very good talk by Colin. He did a good, very, very good. He's done a few talks now, and this is one of his best, I think. I'm here with Colin Woolford. I don't know if you can see him. This thing won't focus, but I'm here at the We're actually sitting on this lovely settee. I can see you now, yeah. And there's a fire pit in the middle, which is not lit, but I'm here on the other settee, so it's all very grand. And Colin and I are sitting on this lovely, lovely, lovely terrace. There's tiki torches and what looks like jack-o'-lanterns. Well, they're just electric, but they look really nice. And Colin, so science fiction, I didn't know this, right? But into your talk, science fiction stories sometimes contains real aliens, like you finding UFOs.
Well, my talk was about Star Trek, not the traditional 1966 series, but this one was about the Star Trek Enterprise 2001 series. It's one of the most recent ones. I think the latest one's Discovery, but don't watch that. That's all politically correct woke.
Yeah, it's rubbish.
Apparently, I mean, I don't.
Oh, it's rubbish. It's full of horrible feminist propaganda.
Yeah, it's basically what my part of my talk was about was the Zindi race, which is basically a collective of belonging to the planet Zindi or Zindus, I believe, or whatever. But no, so it's these different races, but very much matched extraterrestrial races in ufology, basically. So you have like a reptilian race, you have an insectoid race, you have like an aquatic race, you have like 2 mammalian races, and there was even an avian race, which is very interesting. And, like as I said at the end, you know, the guy came up, you know, he was like just imagining if instead of humans, you know, reaching intelligence, you know, supposedly, if you believe we've evolved from apes and all that stuff, but what if other animals have evolved into, you know, bipedal creatures, or not necessarily bipedal, because obviously the aquatics are bipedal creatures, but what happens if they retain, you know, a level of sentience and you know, so that's very much what he tapped into, and that's very much runs into ufology, because there are these mantid things, there are these insect-like creatures, and what was interesting was like the alliance in the TV show very much matched, like you hear about the greys and the reptilians, or the insectoids, if you like, working with reptilians.
I was quite surprised when I found out that Gene Roddenberry had been involved with psychic channeling, especially the channeling of extraterrestrials. But it was very hidden message about him.
He sat on Phyllis Schlemmer on The Only Planet of Choice, but it came out, I believe, 80s, 90s even.
Yeah.
There's been a few versions of it, but it's basically some questions being asked to the Nine, and the Nine are reflective of like deep aspects of creation, I guess, or even the Godhead in some ways. It seems to be like these. You hear it a lot in Egyptian mythology about, you know, the Nine and stuff. So there's obviously Deep Space Nine, if you're familiar with Deep Space.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very interesting. He clearly was either, as I said, having contact experiences, or he was downloading information. He was channeling himself. So it's just very interesting, and obviously it's become like Star Wars, a cult, and you know, it's got its almost own religion almost. I don't think there's a Star Trek religion yet. But
no, but there are. It's no doubt Star Trek. Part of the secrets of success of Star Trek is it was essentially a very intellectual program. Its plots explore very complex and very, very deep, and I think quite meaningful stories.
The aspirations of when we leave this planet, and in Star Trek they have this warp drive technology that eventually lets them leave the planet, basically, and that's when it brings the attention of the Vulcans. Because if you're familiar with the film First Contact, they actually, as a result of building this warp drive, they actually meet the Vulcans. They attract their attention because basically ET races can pick up when you reach a certain level of technology. A bit like the atom bomb and things like that. They do monitor things like that. So
I feel they are maybe. This is something that could come true. We could, in a post-disclosure world, there's no reason why we shouldn't progress to a situation when we are part of a galactic community like the aliens. But it's interesting about the avians. I mean, the thing is, like, when Corey Good came out with his avian thing, I thought, hang on a minute, this reminds me of something, and it did. It reminds me of a book I read once, Rama 2, The Garden of Rama, by Arthur C. Clarke.
okay, yeah.
And I felt a little bit cynical that maybe the idea had come from there. I can't prove that, but it's just an interesting thing. But again, you could ask, where does Arthur C. Clarke get his ideas from? He was a good friend of Stanley Kubrick. They wrote 2001: A Space Odyssey together. The film wasn't an adaptation. They worked on the story together and wrote the full film and the book together. And he knew a lot, Kubrick. He knew a hell of a lot. So who knows? But
Childhood Zen's a good book.
that has reptilian humanoids in too, yeah. And reptilian humanoids can be found actually in the original series. There's Gorn, this giant one, which Kirk has got a wrestling match with this, and it's quite funny actually. I think it's unintentional comedy.
Funny enough, in this new Star Trek Enterprise, well, not new, but the 2001 series, there is actually episodes with the Gorn in it, and also the green-skinned. Do you remember the green-skinned women in it, the Orions?
Oh,
they're the Orions.
Oh, that lovely belly dancer, yes.
Yeah,
I wouldn't mind being abducted by her.
That's one of the best episodes, but. It's very interesting. It's interesting they come from Orion, which is sort of another.
Yeah. And you managed to dig up some. I know Colin Andrews shared it, but you showed some lovely old alien autopsy and crop circle videos as well.
Yeah, I just wanted to. I mean, I didn't really have much time. I was running out of time. The things conspired against us, but no, it was just that clips from '95 and Colin Andrews and Reg Presley, may rest in peace, were having discussions with Ray Santilli in his office, and it's something that that only just been uploaded a couple of weeks ago after like 26 years. So it was very interesting to see that. As I say, the alien autopsy rumbles on, so we'll see what happens.
It does. Who knows? The spirit of the person we don't name. You don't name him. He may eventually bring his book out. I hope he does. Anyway, Colin, thanks very much, and it's very, very good to see you on stage.
And you as well, Ben.
Cheers, mate. That's great. Colin Woolford there, ladies and gentlemen, relaxing in front of the unlit fire pit after a successful second day at our conference. Yeah. Everyone, we're just leaving the place now. I'm here with Colin.
Hello.
And there's Johnny and Dave in the back seat.
Hello.
Johnny did a very interesting talk today, as did Colin, and you'll hear full reviews from me anyway, but I'm just feeling a bit down now because after 2 lovely days we've got to go back to the so-called real world. So a bit of post-conference blues, it's already hitting, but I'll get over it. Anyway, I'm a bit tired now, so I'll be good to go to bed. Hey everyone, it's a little after 7:15 in the morning, and I just left Dave's house. I'm heading for the station here in Watford. Yeah, I'm feeling a little bit low, a bit down, which shows what a good conference it was. I'm going to get the train to London. It's about half an hour, I think, on the train, and then get my coach home to Oxford. Yeah, this is for the first time ever I've been to a two-day conference, which is an evening one. Never been done before. Of course, the lockdown has forced that because it was originally going to be a weekend conference, daytimes, and changed. Well, it's been a lovely event. Thank you very much to everyone involved. That's what I can think of right now. I'm still a bit tired. I'd slept all right, but I'm still a bit sleepy. Yeah, I'd love to see people again. And now I'm feeling that post-conference blues. If you can't, I'll call it post-pro blues. Now there is no probe. It's raining, believe it or not, as well. The weather's changed. It's cool and it's wet. That's England for you. Not to worry. As always, it feels like a massive decompression to go back to your normal life after the heady experience of the conference. Yet it doesn't last long. You soon get over it. But right now, it's just an unpleasant moment. I suppose at the end, it's one of these things that's just nasty when you're in it. It's all right when you're past it. Well, I'm home now. This is the end of this particular expedition, the second post-lockdown conference. I must say, I found making this video a bit more difficult. I found letting my ideas flow was not quite up to my usual standard. I mean, maybe you've noticed it, I don't know. I certainly have. Although I must say, I think my talk went better than the one at the basis. I think I did a better job. I changed it slightly in format, and I think I delivered it better, although I've had positive feedback from both. I tend to be my own worst critic, but you can be the judge of that as well. I think personally I prefer what I did this time. Now, funnily enough, over the last few days while I've been at this event, I've had deja vu 3 times. Now, Anthony Peake said that we tend to get deja vu less as we get older because we have less sort of decisions of different timelines, and our daemon communicates with our eidolon less as we get older. I've certainly noticed that generally I do get deja vu less than I used to. but I've just had a spate of them, 3 deja vus, and I wonder what Anthony would make of that. Interesting. I must say, at this particular conference, I found the bonding process easier. And this wasn't because of the type of people there. They were the people I love very much at both conferences. I'm not sure why it was. Maybe because this is the second post-lockdown conference. Maybe because the difficult situation I had to face, where I had to bite my tongue over that very important issue, which I describe in the Bases Project reportage, was not here at this event. I think that may have been the main reason, actually, and so I found bonding a lot easier. I really, really did. So I'm back now. I don't know when you'll be watching this. It may not be for a while because I've got a lot to do this week, and then on Thursday I'm going away, literally this Thursday, to Truth Seekers North East. So it's possible you won't see this video for a week or two. I'm sorry about that, but I've got to do a comment reply video too before. I've just looked at the time and realised that it's getting close to a month, so I need to do the comment reply video first before I upload this. So sorry about that. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed it. I've certainly enjoyed going to this event. Thank you very much to everybody who made this happen. All the people at UFO Academy, Kerry, and all my friends who helped me out, and Dave for giving me a place to stay. Thank you so much, all of you. And for everyone else I met that day, I made new friends. Some of the people there are people I've not met before. I met the people from the London UFO meetup group and UFO and Weird Stuff meetup group. Thank you very much. It's great to meet Louise and all those people, because I've done 3 Zoom conferences with them over the period of lockdown. Never met them until yesterday. Oh, thank you. There has been one bit of bad news. I've discovered, not myself, because I don't actually. I find that my Facebook doesn't work very well on my mobile phone, and I tend to just put it on my desktop when I'm at home, and I don't carry on my mobile phone. Partly because, like I said, it doesn't work very well on my phone. Also, it's partly deliberate because I like to have a break from it. It tends to draw your attention, you know, unless you're completely prevented from using it. Miles is one of Miles's Basis Project channels has been yeeted. There's 2. There's one called Megawatts 1066, and there's another one I think called Miles Johnson the Basis Project. I'm not sure which one it is, but you can find it. It's his main channel, I think, that's gone. I'm sorry this has happened. I really am. Miles, I know this has happened before. I hope he can appeal it. I hope he can get his channel back. It's bloody disgraceful that YouTube do this to people. I don't have to repeat the points I've made before in other videos, but you know, damn them for what they've done to Miles. I hope he's going to appeal. He's going to get his channel back. Remember, Miles is on Alt-Tech now, like every other interesting YouTuber should be. Don't ever put all your eggs in the YouTube basket, guys. Don't ever do that. As you know, I've certainly have not had my channel generally affected by this yet, touch wood, but I have lost videos. I think I've lost 3-4 videos now for various reasons. Get on to Odyssey, get on to BitChute, guys, definitely. So it's with mixed feelings. I'm back home. I'm sort of going to get used to it. That I end this little reportage of the 2021 Awake and Aware at the UFO Academy. Thank you very much, all of you, for watching. Stand by for the comments reply video. Oh, you'll have already seen it by the time you see this one. Hospital Porters, Pride and Dignity. Stop the New World Order.